Okay, so now let's talk about setting up TradingView. I know that a lot of people like the colors that I use on TradingView and they want to know how I use TradingView. So personally, I prefer the light version. I'm a light kind of guy. I don't really like dark mode, and so even Discord is on light mode for me. So for me, I always keep it in light mode, and one of the things that I like to do is I played around with the colors a lot until I found the colors that I really wanted. And so I'm going to show you what colors I have and how I have it in the charts. So the body of the candles, I personally don't like to use green and red because green and red are pretty much studied to give you a positive or negative emotion, and I want to remove that and become neutral in the markets. And so this is how my chart looks like, and let's go through it. So I have this color, which is D03DB, which is going to be in the notes section of this video. So this is the color for the bullish candle, and the opacity is at 59%. Then the color of my bearish candle is 3C88BF, which again, everything is in the notes. And this is at 100% opacity. The borders and the wicks are all at 100% opacity, and they are all black, because that is going to make sure that everything that is here presented to me continues in black. Now, the background is actually not white, because white is actually very aggressive, but for the canvas, I have F0, F0, F0 as the background. And then my crosshair is the fourth shade of white, I guess, and the opacity is 30%, because that allows the crosshair to help me, but at the same time, not go over the candles. Now, there are a couple of indicators that I use, and the indicator that I mostly use are daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly open, and the definition that I have is just only having the daily. I only care about the daily open. I don't really have the weekly, the monthly, and the yearly open on. I could, but I personally don't. So this is the indicator that I have for daily, weekly, monthly, and yearly open. Then I also have one that I've used for the longest time, which is FXN week and day separator. And this is really helpful because it basically just makes sure that every time that there's a new day, that we have a line that marks the new day. So this really helps with understanding power of three. This really helps you locate yourself during the week. And that is basically it. All of these, they're basically nothing. I don't really use them. Power of three, I used to use it, but then I stopped using it too. So these are the two that I use. Then on the bottom, I have the long position, the short position, the horizontal ray, the rectangle, the trend line, polyline, call out. So short and long position are basically to put the positions on. Horizontal lines are basically to put targets on. Trend lines is the same thing and draws on liquidity. Rectangles to draw order blocks, fair value gaps, whatever it is. Call out, this is when I used to basically put comments on my charts. Now I don't do that anymore. So I can actually remove call out because I'm not using it. The Fibonacci retracement, this helps me understand like the 50%, the open and the close of particular candles, particular order blocks. The highlighter is basically a brush tool. So you can see that the brush tool is very thick and small, while the highlighter, it just looks better. So that is basically what I use. Then data and price range basically tells me the amount of pips that the market moved during a specific time. Text, brush, which I also use to do drawings. This is just price. So if I want to see how much the market moved, but I mostly use data and price range. Eraser, ellipse, vertical line, horizontal line, which all of these I don't use. So basically, if you erase from the eraser up, you don't need any of those. So these are basically my main ones: long, short, horizontal ray, rectangle, trend line, polyline, Fibonacci retracement, highlighter, data and price range, text, and brush. I don't think there is much more to cover on setting up TradingView. If you follow these steps, then you are going to have a TradingView very similar to mine. You don't need to. I would basically recommend you guys to come up with the colors that you particularly like. Every time I change the colors in my charts, I can tell you that a new love for looking at the charts appears. So make sure to play around with the colors, but this is how I keep it. So let's move on to the next lesson.